For months, Luce Cannon had been talking too much in interviews, exposing street business for everyone to hear. People knew it was only a matter of time before the feds came for him. And then, the day finally came. "They just got my husband, you guys," his wife cried in a video. The moment she posted it, everyone knew it was over. But when the indictment details came out, the truth shocked even those who thought they knew everything. Luce Cannon was not just caught up in trouble, he was deeply involved in crimes that only the streets and the feds knew about. Now that everything was out in the open, people believed there was no way he would escape this. His fate was sealed. Even Big U, the man many believed was the mastermind behind extortion in LA and the murder of an up-and-coming rapper, pointed fingers at Luce Cannon. He blamed him for the mess the rolling 60s Crips were in. "When they raided my houses and my properties, they were asking about whack, Luce Cannon, 600. This internet stuff is crazy," Big U said. Then, on March 19th, the video surfaced. Luce Cannon was being arrested, and the footage spread like wildfire. The video, posted on No Jumper's X page, was filmed by a woman who claimed to be Luce Cannon's wife, Charisse Mills. Her voice was filled with panic. "They just got my husband, you guys. Oh my God." This was not the first time his name had been linked to police trouble. Just a week before, Charisse had shared another video of their home being raided by cops. "Oh my God, you guys. The entire block is surrounded. They will not let me come home. We have an entire police force outside." According to her, Luce Cannon was inside when it all happened. "My husband is home. I am just praying he is okay. They will not let me through." Strangely, even though the police raided the house, Luce Cannon was not arrested that day. Instead, it turned out someone had swatted him, meaning an anonymous caller had told the cops he was holding someone hostage inside. According to Luce Cannon, his wife and mother-in-law had just stepped out for coffee. When they returned, they saw police blocking off their apartment complex. Inside, Luce Cannon was home alone with their 6-month-old son. "I was just inside with my son. He is 6 months old. My wife and her mom had gone to Starbucks. When they came back, they saw all the cones and police. She called me and said, 'They will not let me on the block. They're saying there is a hostage situation.' She asked the police what was happening, and when they told her the address, she realized it was their home. My wife knew I was not holding anyone hostage. She had just left the house 10 minutes ago. So I told her, film everything just in case they shoot me when I walk out." But there was another problem. Luce Cannon was a known rolling 60s gang member, and his house was filled with illegal things. When the negotiator came to talk to him, he used the time to hide anything that could get him locked up. "I had things in the house, you know what I mean? So when the negotiator was talking to me, I was hiding everything, making sure they would not find anything." Eventually, the police made him come out. "They told me to come out with my hands up. So I took off my shirt, held my baby in my arms, walked out, and raised my hands. They took the baby, handcuffed me, and put me in a car. They told me, 'We are just checking if this is a hostage situation. If not, we will let you go.' And that was exactly what happened. He walked free that day. But just a week later, his luck ran out. This time, it was not just another police raid. Luce Cannon was hit with every gang member's worst nightmare, a RICO charge. The police called it Operation Drawdown. Today, we are announcing federal criminal charges against Eugene Henley Jr., known as Big U, a career criminal who used his influence in the Crips, the music industry, and even a youth charity to run a criminal operation, the official said. On March 19th, Luce Cannon, Big U, and 16 other rolling 60s affiliates were arrested. The charges were serious: murder, human trafficking, fraud, and extortion. If the details in the indictment were true, these men were facing the kind of prison sentences that would keep them locked up for life. The allegations in the complaint reveal a criminal enterprise that engaged in murder, extortion, human trafficking, and fraud, the acting U.S. attorney stated. The most shocking part? Big U, the man at the top, had been hiding in plain sight for years. The lead defendant and others in this case have gotten away with violent crimes for too long. They have stolen money from innocent people and used intimidation to hide behind their so-called reputation as reformed gangsters, said an FBI official. But the darkest charge against Big U? Murder. The victim? A young rapper he was supposed to be mentoring. In January 2021, 21-year-old aspiring rapper Rayshawn Williams flew from California to Las Vegas. He was there to record music, working under Big U's guidance. It was supposed to be the opportunity of a lifetime. 1 week in the studio, making 1 song per day, all backed by Big U. But something went wrong. 5 days before his death, Williams recorded a diss track. And according to the FBI, the lyrics were aimed at Big U. Big U is furious. Witnesses say Williams had already been skipping studio sessions, which Big U took as a sign of disrespect. The day before his death, Big U and his associate, Demetrius "Meech" Robinson, left Los Angeles and drove 4 hours to Las Vegas to confront Williams. The next day, around 7 p.m., Big U arrived at the studio. Later that night, Williams finally showed up too. He recorded until midnight. At 12:30 a.m., Big U left. Witnesses saw his dark gray Lexus disappear into the night. Then, things got even more suspicious. At 1 a.m., Big U's phone stopped reporting GPS location data. At 2:15 a.m., it turned back on. And by morning, Williams was gone forever. At 1:13 a.m., surveillance footage from the rapper's Airbnb showed a dark gray or silver car pulling up. Williams stepped out from the passenger seat, went inside, and came back out carrying his suitcase. What made this strange was that he was not supposed to check out until the next day. His return flight was also scheduled for the next day. Something was not right, and it seemed like he knew it. At 3 a.m., Big U returned to the studio alone. Witnesses later told the police that he looked drenched, either in sweat or water. When asked about it, he claimed he had just come back from the gym. Later that morning, at 9 a.m. on January 25th, Rayshawn Williams' body was found in a ditch near a Las Vegas landfill. He had been shot in the face. Investigators believed a revolver was used, the kind of weapon that does not leave behind shell casings. After the murder, investigators discovered that Big U ordered the studio recording equipment to be removed and the surveillance footage to be destroyed. That footage could have shown Big U and Williams leaving the studio together that night. The police also tested Big U's DNA against evidence found on Williams' body, but the results were unclear. Even though the DNA did not directly link him to the crime, the police did not rule him out as a suspect. But this murder was not the only crime Big U and his Rolling 60s Crips members were accused of. With 19 gang members now behind bars, more details about their street activities were coming out. Luce Cannon, however, was confident that he would be released soon. He believed he had been caught up in a misunderstanding. Adam, 22, reached out to his wife for an update, and she shared what was happening. When they arrested him, they took him to the Henderson facility. He will be transported in the morning. I just spoke to him on the phone, and he is doing fine. We have strong faith that this will all be cleared up, she said. According to her, Luce Cannon would beat his charges because they were based on rumors and not facts. There were no witnesses to testify against him. We will win this case because it is all nonsense. There is no real proof. It is all based on a podcast interview. They have no evidence against my husband. They can say whatever they want, but nobody is testifying against him. I know this for a fact because I have seen the paperwork. Despite her confidence, Big U had a different view. He believed that Luce Cannon, 600, and Whack 100 were responsible for the gang's current situation. According to him, these men had been revealing too much about the streets online, and that had led to their downfall. Luce Cannon was even accused of being a snitch. Fans started criticizing Adam, 22, and the No Jumper podcast for allowing so much self-snitching to happen. Many people now believed Adam and his crew were working with the authorities. Shockingly, the No Jumper podcast was mentioned in the official indictment. Even Big U, while on his way to turn himself in, blamed 3 people who were regular guests on Adam 22's platform, Luce Cannon, 600, and Whack 100. When they raided my houses and properties, they were asking about Whack, Luce Cannon, 600. This internet stuff is out of control. All of you who spread information online, all of you who listen and believe what he says, this is what happens, Big U said. And he did have a point. Luce Cannon had gone on No Jumper and accused Big U of being involved in Nipsey Hussle's murder. That interview was later removed from the No Jumper YouTube channel. In that interview, Luce Cannon made serious claims, suggesting there was a conspiracy to take Nipsey Hussle out. He said that Big U had called him just 30 minutes before Nipsey was shot and killed. Luce Cannon was shocked and immediately called his cousin, Nipsey. Nipsey answered the call like nothing was wrong. I was on the phone, FaceTiming my cousin, and he said, Nipsey just got killed. I was in shock. I said, what? That cannot be right. So I hung up and called Nipsey directly. He answered and said, what is up? He was completely fine. But 30 minutes later, Luce Cannon received a call telling him that Nipsey had been shot and killed. After I talked to Nipsey, I told him, I love you, cuz. I will see you later. And then, just like that, he was gone. I hung up the phone and thought, Big, you gave the wrong information. But just 30 minutes later, my phone started blowing up. The homies were calling me, saying that they had just killed Nippy. On March 31st, 2019, Nipsey Hussle was shot at least 10 times right outside his Marathon clothing store in Los Angeles. He was pronounced dead at 3:55 p.m. The official story was that his killer, Eric Holder Jr., confronted Nipsey about rumors that he had cooperated with the police. After a brief argument, Holder walked to his car, grabbed a gun, and came back to shoot him. Holder was later found guilty of first-degree murder, 2 counts of attempted voluntary manslaughter, and 2 counts of assault with a firearm. He was sentenced to 60 years to life in prison. But Luce Cannon's revelation made it clear that there was more to the story. It was not just a random argument, it was a setup. Even before this, Charleston White had already claimed that Big U was involved in Nipsey's death. He openly said, Big U had Nipsey Hussle killed. Everybody knows that. According to him, the Rollin' 60s Crips, the gang Nipsey was a part of, were jealous of his success. He had gained too much love and respect from the younger generation, and that made the older gang members feel threatened. His influence had grown bigger than the gang itself, and they could not accept that. All the big homies were jealous of Nip. All the young ones loved him. Nip had become bigger than the gang, Charleston White said. Luce Cannon was not done exposing secrets. On the No Jumper podcast, he made another shocking claim. He revealed that Big U had planned a robbery at a weed dispensary, which Luce Cannon himself carried out. But what happened next was strange. Big U later invited the victim of the robbery and returned some of the stolen money. The indictment later revealed that this was Big U's way of running a protection scheme. He made businesses pay him for protection, promising that if they paid, their stores would not be touched by him or his gang. It was like something straight out of a mafia movie. We would go and do something, and just 10 minutes later, we would show up acting like we were trying to fix things. We would give them back some money, like $40,000 or something, Luce Cannon said. But Luce Cannon was not the only one exposing secrets. Another Rollin' 60s Crip member, Whack 100, was also being accused of working with the police. Brick Baby, who was also indicted in the Rollin' 60s RICO case, openly called Whack 100 a snitch. Whack is a cop. He is working for them. Think about it. How does he know so much about street stuff? Every time something happens, like the Quando Rondo situation, Whack is the first to speak on it. How does he even know these things? Unless he is getting police reports, Brick Baby said. The truth was, Whack 100 himself had spread false information. He had once claimed that Quando Rondo's shooting was over a bad drug deal, when in reality, it was a retaliation for King Von's murder. At one point, people were so convinced that Whack was a federal informant that even World Star Hip Hop posted a video claiming he was working with the feds. That video was later deleted, but it made people suspicious. I went to World Star Hip Hop, and I got some bad news, someone in the video said. I found out my big homie is talking to the cops. Now, the tables have turned. Whack 100 is no longer the one being accused, he is the one pointing fingers. He is now saying that Brick Baby is the real snitch and that he has been working with the feds all along. According to Wack, Brick Baby snitched on Lil Durk and helped bring down his crew. "You follow Brick Baby's digital footprints, and you will see the truth," Wack said in a podcast with Adam22. According to Wack sources, Brick Baby had been picked up by the feds long before Lil Durk's people were arrested. But what is strange is that even though Brick Baby's house was raided and he was taken in, he was never charged with anything. That alone made Wack 100 believe that Brick Baby was working with the police all along. Wack 100 believes that Brick Baby must have made a deal and is giving information to the authorities. Otherwise, how can anyone explain a known gang member getting arrested at home and then being released without any charges? Months later, Wack 100 finally explained why the feds had raided Brick Baby's house. According to him, Brick Baby went on a podcast and exposed Lil Durk and F. In February 2023, Brick Baby was on the internet with Flacco and suddenly said that nobody could claim F did not seek revenge for King Von. While speaking with Poetic Flacco, Brick Baby revealed that no one could say Von's death was not avenged because F had killed Quando Rondo's cousin. He made it clear that this was no longer just a rumor. Then, after Brick Baby shared this information on the podcast, the feds got a search warrant. According to Wack 100, the feds raided Brick Baby's home to take his phone because they believed it had key information about the plot to kill Quando Rondo's cousin. However, Brick Baby did not tell people that the feds were after his phone. Instead, he claimed he had been arrested for a gun charge. In March, the feds targeted Brick Baby, and everyone assumed it was because of an AK-47 case. But in reality, they only wanted his phone. Surprisingly, Brick was never officially charged, and he still does not have a court date for the so-called gun case. This is very suspicious because he is a felon and a known gang member. Usually, getting caught with a gun would mean a long prison sentence. Brick Baby claimed that there was no court date because the DA dropped his case due to a lack of evidence. But not many people believe that. The real question is why the DA would refuse to press charges. The truth is that they did not reject it outright. They just did not have enough proof to take it to trial. After Lil Durk's indictment became public, Wack 100 revealed that the feds wanted Brick Baby's phone because they suspected he had been working with F members on the day of the shooting. They believed he had given information about Quando Rondo's location to the hitmen. Wack 100 said that in the reports, a local person had been giving updates on Quando's whereabouts. After the shooting, the feds reportedly told Quando Rondo that his own gang, the Rolling 60s Crips, had set him up. Quando and Brick Baby were both part of the same gang, and when Quando arrived in Atlanta, he checked in with his crew for protection. He was representing Rolling 60s Crips, just like Brick Baby. So naturally, he turned to his own gang for security. That is why Quando later went on social media and spoke out against his gang, saying they did not have his back. But even with all the shocking revelations on No Jumper, Luce Cannon and Big U had it coming. They had been terrorizing Los Angeles for too long. What makes this even crazier is that they recorded everything. Luce Cannon and Big U acted like they ran Los Angeles. They were proud of their crimes and even shared them on social media. Luce Cannon once filmed himself beating up a man just because he was talking to his child's mother. Big U recorded himself extorting a film crew that was trying to make a movie in the neighborhood. Big U made it clear that if someone wanted to film in the area, they had to get permission from him. He threatened anyone who tried to shoot a movie or music video without checking in. He said, "If you do not check in, we will check you out." People on social media were quick to call him out. Many could not believe he was extorting his own community while they were trying to do something positive. One person commented, "Imagine robbing your own people who are just trying to make something happen." Another joked, "Whatever they said Big U did, he definitely did it." Big U might have thought he was untouchable, but he had never met someone like DaBaby. Unlike others, DaBaby did not play by those rules. Remember when some goons confronted him at his music video shoot in East Atlanta? They demanded he get permission before filming. DaBaby stood his ground and refused to play along. He told them straight up that he was not signing anything. He made it clear that he does not check in with anybody. He said, "I do not ask for permission. I do not sign permission slips. I do not do that." Later, in an interview with Vlad TV, DaBaby revealed that those guys were lucky they did not try anything foolish. According to him, they should be grateful that God was on their side that day. You're filming a music video in East Atlanta, but you are not from that area. A group of local guys shows up and asks for a permission slip. Did you feel like things could have gone wrong? The truth is, DaBaby does not play those kinds of games. He has been in serious situations before and has managed to walk away, claiming self-defense, even when video footage suggested he might have been the aggressor. 100 kilograms of marijuana. While Luce Cannon, Brick Baby, and Big U are likely regretting putting too much of their business on the internet, they are not the only ones. The Rolling 60s Crips are not the only gang to get caught up in RICO charges because of social media posts. O Block also found themselves in the same situation, with 5 of their members now facing life in prison. On October 13, 2020, federal agents raided O Block and arrested 5 men for the murder of FBG Duck. These men were C Murder, Kenny Mack, Los, C Tang, and Muwap. They were charged with murder, illegal use of firearms, racketeering, and assault with dangerous weapons. These charges carried a mandatory life sentence if convicted. FBG Duck was shot and killed on Michigan Avenue and East Oak Street in Chicago's Gold Coast area. A few weeks before his murder, a black vehicle pulled up in front of a store. Armed men jumped out and started shooting at Duck as he tried to run, but he did not make it. After firing multiple shots, the gunmen rushed back to their vehicle, while another gray car involved in the attack sped off. Surveillance footage later showed that police had actually followed the gray vehicle back to O Block. However, no arrests were made at that time. The big break in the case came when gang members started talking about the murder online. They openly admitted that Duck was killed because he had disrespected one of their dead friends, T-Roy, in his song just a month before. At first, everyone thought King Von had put a price on Duck's head for disrespecting his best friend. However, in an interview, FBG Buddha revealed something shocking. He suggested that Lil Durk was connected to FBG Duck's murder. Just before the killers were arrested, Durk was reportedly planning to fly them out on a private jet. I do not think Von paid those guys. I am sorry to say this, but those boys got caught at the airport in a private hangar. Von is gone, right? Then how are they affording a private jet? In the end, all 5 O Block members were found guilty and will spend the rest of their lives in prison. Will Luce Cannon end up facing the same fate? Only time will tell.